What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Sarah Budson, here with my other host, Beckie Flowers, and we have a very special guest today, my training partner, Joey Quadss, Joey Cavs, Joey Cavaliere. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. But we're going to cover a few different things today, but before, just to kick us off, why don't you kind of just give us a background on you, where you came from, what got you into training, go from there.
So I'm a personal trainer, online coach. I've been training since I was 13, but officially like personal training and coaching for 7 years now. Super heavyweight bodybuilder, and we're going for our pro card this year. So see what happens.
Massive human.
I'm only 265 right now. I feel small.
Oh God.
And actually, you guys met when Beckie was here in town too. So it's not their first time meeting. That's usually not the case whenever we have someone on.
Yeah,
Beckie's
usually I'm like, oh, I don't know. Hi, new friend.
Oh my God.
No. So we are super excited to talk to you about training. And I know you and Sarah train together, but you guys train a little differently too, correct?
Yeah, very different. I mean, at first it wasn't too different. She was kind of following like my stuff during prep. And then now that she's in prep, it's a little bit more different. But yeah.
Yeah, because I'm following my split, and there's some movements we line up most of our days whenever we're at the gym on the same days, and there's some movements that will hop in together, and then I kind of veer off and do my girly bikini split.
Training ass 4 times a week.
Pretty much.
But
shoulders.
Yeah.
But even though like Joey and I have been training together for like the better part of a year and a half at this point, there's a lot of differences, like you had mentioned, in our training. Not so much our style. Sometimes I feel like we've kind of adopted a little bit of the same style within training, but really the biggest thing is here he goes.
I already know.
I live and die by my logbook, and Joey just like free balls it. I don't understand how.
Yeah, I don't know. I see the point to the logbook. Like, don't get me wrong. I see like progressive overload and stuff like that. And you want to see your numbers and beat your numbers. For me, it makes training feel like a job. So like if I want to switch up workouts or whatever, then I can do that. I'm not like married to this fucking thing. And like, I don't know how long like everyone's been training, but I can remember the shit I did like 4 weeks ago as far as weight. So I don't need like, a logbook to sit there and, oh, I did this weight 4 weeks ago at this RIR and this many reps.
Nobody does RIR.
You remember that?
What?
You
He's
remember
crazy.
what you did 4 weeks ago?
Oh, 100%.
Oh my God. See, that's why I
Yeah.
like the logbook, because I don't remember what I was doing yesterday. So for me, I'm like, oh shit, let's go back and see where I was at and make sure that I am progressively overloading.
Yeah. See, for me, like the only things like I really keep track of are like my first 3 exercises. And then after that, it's like a shotgun blast of what I want to do. So like I can tell you like 4 weeks ago, I squatted 700 and I'll know that. And then from there on, like another 2-3 weeks when I go to hit it again, be like, okay, I have to hit it for more than that.
Got it.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Have you always trained like that?
Yeah. Ever since I've started training, I've tried using a logbook and like logging weights for coaches and whatever. And it just like, I last like 2 weeks. I'm like, nah, fuck this. I'm good.
Okay.
And just go back to remembering everything.
And most of the time you're programming your own training, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've only had my very first coach program my training just because I trained with him in person. And then my coach now, Dom Kuz, he programmed my training from North Americans to Orlando. And then most of the time it's just me.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah. In 22.
Yep.
So
yeah. And you were miserable during that time.
Yeah, it was. It's a lot of like unilateral shit that I just hate. So I was just trying to get obnoxiously strong at those exercises to make it fun.
Okay. But there was a purpose behind it. So I kind of.
Yeah. Like he obviously sees from more of like an objective standpoint as to where like I'm completely subjective and just want to have fun when I train.
Mhm.
But he's like, no, we like have to work on this shit. So these are the exercises you're doing. I'm like, fuck, whatever. Fine.
Because obviously you are lower body dominant.
Just a tad.
Is that what you're working on right now?
Is what my
Is
imbalance from upper to lower?
upper body?
Yeah. So I only really hit legs like once a week. Before it was like once every 9 days, but I couldn't handle that. So now it's just once a week, and then I'll have like 4 or 5 upper body days.
How
Okay.
bad was your recovery doing the legs once every 9 days?
Actually, not bad. I mean, they were sore for like 3, 4 days, but like, I don't know. It's just I love training legs. So if I go too long without training them, I feel like I'm like withering away.
Which, if you guys saw him, if you're not familiar with him, go check out his Instagram because he's not going to wither away.
We'll throw up some pictures.
Yeah, we'll throw some pictures in here. But I have a question though. Since you don't like logbooks so much and you are an in-person trainer, but then also online trainer, how do you suggest that your clients train? Do you want them to track
So I
their?
give them the option. So if they want to use like their logbook, so I have a sheet and everything set up. If they want to log their weights, perfect. If like they have strength goals and they're like one of my strength athletes, yeah, you're logging your weights. But if they don't want to, or if they feel like it's too stressful, or if it feels like a job, they're just like, I don't like whatever. Just send me videos and then I'll be able to know if you're getting stronger.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go about it, at least, especially when coaching people, because it's hard. I mean, when you have so many different things going on, and that's why I like logging mine, because I have so many different things going on, but also like I take notes with like how I'm feeling that day, or like what I have going on. Like, if I have my back issues going on, like obviously, yeah, my numbers are going to be a little bit less or whatever.
If it's raining,
Put
if
that
it's raining and the weather's bad, her back is just fucked.
Michigan weather right now. I woke up, I'm like, wow, I want to die.
Oh, same. That's where we're at.
But Joey's always giving me shit. But no, that's like our biggest difference. He's always like rolling his eyes at me whenever I'm like logging or like writing out my exercises for the day.
Yeah, she just sits right on the gym floor as soon as she gets there and starts logging her shit. And here we go. Another 15 minutes rolls by.
See, that is the one thing that I can't do. If I go to the gym and I have to write down what I'm going to do first, I can't. So I'll do it the night before I go. Otherwise,
You're always
Yeah.
prepared though.
yeah, well, otherwise my brain will not function. Just like my washer's broken right now, and I spent an hour and a half looking for the paperwork. So that's where I'm at with my life. If it's not structured, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. See, I'm very much like, well, Sarah knows how I train. Like I train completely by feel. So it's like, if I want to go for like heavy triples today and I'm feeling good, perfect. I'm gonna go for heavy triples. If I feel like shit, my knees hurt, like I'll go for like higher reps. So like using a logbook for me, like I can't correlate how I want to train with a logbook. It wouldn't make any sense. The numbers would be all over the place.
And I think that that speaks a lot to the athlete that you are and the experience that you have because you are able to kind of auto regulate yourself.
Yeah.
Where someone that's newer to training or just not maybe newer, but they're not really familiar to actually trying to progressively overload, they do need more structure, I think.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I think like in those very beginning stages when you're training, just go fucking have fun. Just grow everything and train as hard as you can. Now, if you're trying to become like a higher level athlete and there's like minuscule things you have to work on, cool. Switch to a logbook and like log your volume, log your weights, stuff like that. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I just like to have fun and hurt myself in the gym.
No, it makes sense.
I've also adopted this too. Like even because at first when you and I first started training together, I would always ask you like if I was spotting you, like, okay, how many are you going for? You're like, I don't know. I'm just
Just
like,
shrug.
or like, how many sets are you doing? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, that drives me nuts.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. But you know what?
Yeah.
There's almost something like cool about that because you're not going into it with like, okay, I have 3 sets or I'm going to go for 8. Like you
Yep.
kind of just turn off your brain and go.
That's exactly what it is. I don't want to think when I'm in the gym. I just want to have fun and cause as much damage as I can. Sarah even does that shit now, though. She'll have like 225 doing RDLs. How many you go for? I don't know. We'll see. Yep.
I know the range I'm going for at least, but
Yeah.
I mean, like getting back after recovery, I've been a little bit like, okay, I want to at least hit this many. That's been something more difficult for me with just like getting back to like my pre-op weights is that mental of like, okay, do I push here? Do I pull back here? Like, how am I going to hurt myself? Am I going to set myself back? Which obviously I don't want to do in prep. So,
Yeah.
How many weeks do you have?
I am just I'm 20 and a half weeks out from first projected
Okay.
show.
Yeah.
So we're on a good timeline, but
Yeah, that's more than enough time.
Yeah.
and Joey is like even though he goes in with like almost no plan, like he goes in, he fucking kills it, and then like walks out and is just like dead. And you've definitely like that's something that I have really enjoyed about training with you is like you make me a better athlete with giving me shit all the time.
Yep.
But just constantly pushing me in different ways and getting me a little bit out of my super structured comfort zone.
Yep.
Having that little bit of like leeway, even though I very much still stick to what I'm doing, there's still different ways that you push me that I really appreciate.
Yeah. I'm always going to push. I'm going to try to kill you. Like, like like adding random like cluster sets or add a random like drop sets and rest pauses. She'll be like, oh yeah, I hit 12. No, you're getting like fucking 3 more. Sit down.
And I'm like near the end of the set and I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. I pretty much just get flipped off constantly.
That's so good though. Because I train alone and sometimes I wish I had a training partner to push me. Because yeah, you can push yourself with the logbook all you want, but if you're having a shitty mental day, like if it's raining and you're just like over it, then you're not going to push yourself. Even as much as you're going to say that you did, you're not as much as someone else would.
Yeah. Not if someone's forcing you to do more reps.
Yeah. Yeah. Or calling you a little bitch. Like I would love if someone called you a little bitch. Do more weight.
Joey's very good at doing that himself too, though. Like even when you train alone, like I've never once seen you like half-ass anything you fucking do in the gym, which speaks volumes because like obviously your physique reflects that.
Yeah, it's the one thing like I started training for like far different reasons than everybody else. So like the causing pain aspect is like if I didn't cause more pain than my last session, then it wasn't a good enough session for me. Like that's like my theory behind everything. If you have to cause more stress each session, and that's how you're gonna grow. Like if you go in and you just like hit the same numbers, hit the same weights, whatever, and there's no more stress than the last week, then you're just gonna stay in the same spot.
And that's why I like the logbook.
Here we go.
No,
The
I
red
have
list.
like I have to do that, but it's cool to like see different perspective on it because both Becky and I are so logbook so that we can reference, what happened the previous week or whatever. But um especially with you programming your own training and everything like that, like you do your meat and potato movements basically the same.
Yep.
Reps just depending whatever, but then you know what you want to hit, and then based off of like whatever's open or what you're feeling like doing, that's kind of how you structure the rest of your training, which is really cool because it keeps it not so like monotonous.
Exactly. And that's the one thing I hate, like, especially having like structured training. Like, it's kind of like hypocritical being a coach because, like, only some athletes I'll change their program every few weeks, but for the most part, everyone's on like, okay, like 8 to 10 weeks, this is your fucking program. We'll see how you progress. I'm like, it's
Right.
me, like, mine can change like week to week, depending on like what I feel like doing.
See, I basically run things until I top out on them, and I'm like, either I'm exhausted with them or I'm not progressing with them, and then switch things up.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly when you should do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go months and months. But there was something I was going to ask and I completely lost it.
What did it
Joey,
have to
what
do
got
with
you into training?
what got me into training?
Yeah.
Football got me into training. What caused me to progress in training was just like me wanting to cause pain to myself. So that started super early in my life. Yeah.
Do you want to go into that at all or?
I mean, I just like really rough time in high school with like depression, like a super bad relationship. So it's like instead of doing like other shit to myself, I was like, okay, well, I'll just cause myself physical pain in the gym.
Got
That's
And
it.
nice.
then, yeah.
And you said that that's kind of where your mentality is still at too when you go into your sessions.
Yeah, it's like it's a hard cycle to break, obviously, from like past trauma. That shit leaves its own scars. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's helped me progress this far. So why stop?
Yeah, if
Run
it's
it.
working for
Run it.
you.
And when are you
Yeah,
competing again? Next year, when?
really.
North
August.
American.
Well, yeah, we'll be hitting North Americans and Labor Day weekend, that first weekend of September.
So
Yeah, we
you
might do a warm
are
up show. I'm not sure.
is it 9 months? 9 months out?
Sure.
Yeah,
When do you
September.
guys start prep?
That's up to him. It's usually April or May. Usually, probably the last week of April, first week of May.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. He's kind of been doing like preps differently now. Like he puts them into like two segments. So I feel like we're kind of in that first segment now, just like refining, keeping my weight here, but getting leaner at this weight. And then we'll take a little break and then we'll like blast for prep.
Got it.
Yeah. A little
Cool.
different approach, far different than anything I've done.
What was that?
I said that's far different than anything I've done. Usually it just goes, we go from bulk to like a phase and then into prep. But now he's keeping me leaner at this weight.
How do you
And
feel?
Small.
okay.
I want to be 285 again.
You can't tie your shoes.
Yeah. That's how bulk should be. Breathing heavy going upstairs. Can't put your shoes on.
For a bodybuilder, not for a bikini athlete.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all the same. You got to put on muscle.
It's true. That's true.
Beckie, what were you gonna ask?
No, how many years have you been competing?
Uh,
A
since
while.
2000, yeah, 2016, early 16.
What got you into that?
I was actually kind of forced into bodybuilding by my first coach, which was kind of strange. So I was just like training. I was stationed down in Camp Lejeune, and we were on a base gym. And some guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this guy, Perry Wooten? He's like a big coach in the area." I was like, "No." So he gave Perry my number. He found me in the gym one day, and like after my training session, he's like, "All right, well, we're going to pose." I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Going to pose? Literally went in the locker room, started posing, and then 16 weeks later, I did my first show.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
And
And
then
I
it
met
took
just
him at
overall
North
and
Americans, right?
what?
I met him at North Americans, right?
Yeah, short, bald, black guy,
Yeah. He was
built like
super.
a cannonball.
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So
Yeah,
then
he's
from
he's
there it just
awesome.
kind of stuck.
Yeah, so took overall at that show, and then almost every show after that we took first or second overall, and then yeah, just kind of fell in love with it from there.
And you
And
got
I'm trying to remember, where did you fall at North Americans and Universe?
I was just gonna ask.
Uh, uh, third at North Americans, and then fifth at Nationals.
Nationals. Oops.
Yeah, it's like universe. What are you talking about?
There's so
Yeah,
many.
I was telling Dom we should have freaking did the amateur Olympia this year. We would have went pro.
Should have.
Yeah, but we were too far into the bulk.
Yeah.
But this year it should happen.
It
Yeah.
will. And it's in its own timing when it's supposed to.
Yeah, supposed to happen last year, but whatever. No, my upper body wasn't big enough. We definitely needed to fucking grow. That's for sure.
And you've grown a lot since then, for sure.
Yeah, despite my back injury, but that held us back a
Yeah.
little bit.
But even with that, because you were out for how long from that?
Technically, I trained the day after, but it was like only arms. But yeah, I couldn't train legs for like 7 or 8 weeks. I couldn't load my spine for 12.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What did
I
you
ended up
do?
I tore my L5.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
so literally on Valentine's Day, I hit 675 on a deadlift. And then every week after, I was slowly getting weaker. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So 4 weeks after I was pulling 585, halfway up the first rep, my back just exploded.
Holy
I thought I was gonna get my x-rays back and have nothing there.
Oh,
Stumbled like 3 steps, collapsed, and couldn't move my legs.
I remember seeing that video. It was awful.
Yeah,
Holy
pretty
shit.
gnarly. Yeah, I did call the emergency and get taken out on a stretcher.
Oh my God. So is that why you didn't compete at North Americans this year? Were you planning?
No, we took the whole year off to grow.
Okay.
Yeah, so after nationals last December of 22, then we just took this whole year off to grow.
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Okay. Damn. And
yeah.
now you're good? Is it better?
Oh yeah. My deadlift's not where I want it to be, but like my squat's back up there and stuff. Like it doesn't really bother me too much besides like a little tightness, but there's no pain like in my spine actually.
Got it.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
You're telling me I was in a walker for 2 weeks.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to put this in context, you're not even 30 yet, right?
I turned 30 in October.
Oh, okay. So you just turned 30, but at that point, you were still 29. Like
Yeah.
29-year-old man having
Yep.
that happen, that could have been life-changing.
That's what I was scared of. Yeah. I was scared that it was going to end my career, but I was like, the initial shock happened and like I was destroyed. Like mentally, I was like, fuck, like this could be it. And then after I got to the hospital, I'm like literally like stumbled down into my basement and started training arms the next day.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We
No.
need to have you on for like a mindset topic too. I know we're talking logbook and training, but I feel like there's a lot of mindset that you could give.
Yeah. Just let me know when. I'm happy to share any of my craziness with the world.
There's plenty of it there.
Okay. Yeah. You have no idea.
Go into just a little bit of your background with personal training and coaching and everything like that, because I know that you train a plethora of different kinds of athletes.
Yeah. So I actually started personal training while I was in the Marines. So going into the Marines, like even to get in, I had to lose 60 pounds. Like since I did all that like completely on my own, whatever, like figure out everything and how to do it. So once I got in, I was like, well, fuck, I could probably help them because like military is not what it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of people that are in there that are super overweight. So I started helping all those guys lose weight and running programs for them. And then it just kind of like exploded from there, doing like online training and personal training, getting my certifications and everything like that. But now I train anywhere from like 70 something year old women to 14-year-old athletes.
Wow.
And you're doing
Yeah.
a lot with wrestling teams and stuff like that too.
Yeah. So I coach and do the strength and conditioning program for the De La Salle wrestling team currently.
Which is so
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite. Those kids they're awesome to work with just because they work so hard, but they're so obnoxious. Like they found my Instagram and now I'm just Coach Quadss forever. Like that's all they fucking, it's so funny. But that's like the one thing like where I wanted to kind of steer everything most because like I completely destroyed my opportunity to play college football by being an idiot in high school. So like I want to like help steer these kids in like the right direction and so they can get scholarships and do what they want to do and not fuck it up.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Joey?
Unless you have any more questions, I'm your guest.
Becky?
I think that's it with that. We kind of didn't touch on like pros and cons of logbook, but I feel like we talked about it. It really just depends on who you are as an athlete.
Right.
Do what you want to
And
do.
also even like what phase you're in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like obviously if you and I like, especially because I was more loose with my logbook training when we were training together, but like now that I am, when I was in my structured off season, my structured prep,
Yep.
like that's where I'm not veering and I'm a lot more diligent with it.
I do have one question because this drives me crazy. So when you're in prep, do you still try to progressively overload? Maybe it's not by strength, but do you try to progressively overload in prep?
I try and get as strong as I can in prep.
Okay.
So like my theory in prep so this is where a lot of athletes make a big mistake is when they're in prep, they treat their body like they're in prep. They'll either pull back or they'll be like, oh, I'm in a deficit. Like I can't push as hard. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to keep getting stronger. Like I'm going to shoot my deadlift up, shoot my squat up. Because like the leaner I get, the more athletic I feel and the better my body feels. Like I can move a lot better. So my strength just like flies through the roof. I think, when was it? It was, God, I think it was 6 weeks out. And like I go through like powerlifting phases too. Like Sarah will know this. So like doing like good mornings and like banded stuff a lot. It was like 6 weeks out from North Americans, and I hit like an almost 600-pound good morning.
Holy shit.
I sent the video to Dom and he almost had a heart attack. He thought I was gonna start squatting and I just like bent over with it.
Oh my God. That's crazy. I can't even imagine that in a bulk.
Yeah.
No.
It was, yeah, I go through like these weird phases of like powerlifting and like trying to do strongman stuff. So
Holy shit.
He's a
yeah.
Well,
maniac.
yeah. Because Sarah, I'm going to ask the question to you because you are in prep. And I know that you were off for like a year and a half in a life phase, but are you going to keep pushing yourself in prep?
Even in my last prep, I got stronger throughout my prep. My deadlifts went up, all of my movements go up. Same thing. It's like I had that same mentality. It's like don't treat your body like you're in prep. Like if you're gonna limit yourself mentally, but if anything, that's how you're gonna hang on to all your muscle.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's if you're treating yourself like you're in prep, you're also going to lose a lot of that muscle that you accumulated in your off season. Where if you're continually trying to push yourself and progressively overload and get stronger, you're more apt to keep that when you're dieting.
exactly. Yeah. So moral of the story, even if you don't use logbook, just keep pushing in prep. Because I see so many girls that are
Don't
like, oh, I
train like
use
a
my
pussy.
logbook. What? Sorry.
Don't train like a pussy in prep.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
is. Yeah. Don't use it as an excuse. So thanks. Just want to drive that home for anyone that needed it. But no, thanks so much for coming on with us and talking training. We're definitely going to have you back and talk about everything because I didn't realize you were in the military as well. So we can talk a lot of mental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Sounds
Joey's
good.
always hopping on people's podcasts.
Trying. I love being on podcasts. It's fun.
Good. Well, we'll have you
We'll
back.
have you back soon for sure. But again,
Perfect.
thank you for joining us. I will see you tomorrow at the gym.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
And we will catch you guys next
Bye.
week.
Yep.